Hello, it's Miss Moorfield, and tonight we're going to talk about rounding. So you can see my lovely drawing of a flower here, and this, what looks like a ladder, is actually supposed to be my ruler, and it's fairly obvious looking at it that my flower is 3 inches tall. So there's no real discussion of, is it about 3 inches or taller or shorter. If we could look at that and say, yeah, my flower is 3 inches tall, and everyone would feel confident and know what that means. However, if you look at my next flower, it doesn't fall evenly on my ruler. I see that 4 inches is here. I know that it's not quite 5 inches. It looks to be maybe about 4.5 inches, but you'll notice now I'm approximating. I'm not giving you an exact number. I'm saying it's about 4.5 inches, or approximately 4.5 inches. So in reality, it may be 4 and 57 hundredths of an inch. But instead of saying that to the average person, I'm going to say, oh, it's about 4.5 inches, and they're going to know what I mean. So we're going to look at some different numbers and talk about how we're going to round when dealing now with decimals in our numbers. So if I say that I have a bag and it weighs 37 4/10 of a kilogram, I want to round it to the nearest kilogram. We don't typically talk about weight in tenths or hundredths. We usually like to go by the pound or the kilogram or whatever it is our measurement is. So how can I take 37 4/10 and how do I decide which one it might be closest to? Actually, I'm going to erase that, sorry. So if I drew a number line for you, and I have 37 kilograms here, and 38 kilograms here. We know, of course, in the middle is 37.5 kilograms. What I'm trying to figure out is, am I closer here or am I closer to here? Well, with 37.4, I'm falling just left of the midway mark, which means, of course, I'm closer. There's less distance between 37.4 and 37 than there would be if I went all the way up to 38. So therefore, I would round this to 37 kilograms and say it's approximately 37 kilograms. And you'll notice our wavy equal sign is how we symbolize approximately. So our next one, we're looking at meters, and it's 5 7/78 hundredths of a meter. So again, if I put that on a number line, if I have 5 meters and 6 meters, in the middle would be 5 50 hundredths of a meter. If I have 5 7/78 hundredths, well, we know this would be 5 60, 70, 80, oops, made my lines too far apart, 60, 70, 80, 90 hundredths. So 78 hundredths would be somewhere around here, and I'm looking at, is it closest to 6 meters or to 5 meters? And that one should be fairly obvious that this is far closer than it would be if I rounded down. So I would say it's approximately 6 meters. Again, anytime you don't see the answer obvious, the number line is going to be your best tool when looking at rounding, because we really are just talking about which is it closest to. Is it closest to this number, this whole number, or that whole number? And that's how I'm going to choose. Now this one I would like to round to the nearest whole number. So it's another way of telling me without any unit of measurement, but I'm eliminating my decimal. So if I drew my number line, I'm going between 24 and 25. But the problem with this one is 24 5/10 falls exactly in the middle. So in theory, this is equal distance to this. And at this point is when we start having rules that we follow. So you might remember from earlier this year, maybe even last year, we've talked about rounding, and we've said before that if the number is between 0 and 4, we round down. If it's between 5 and 9, we round up. So in this case, 24 5/10 would fall in this category. We would round up, and we would say it's approximately 25. So this should be somewhat familiar. We're just using the same rules and applying them now to our decimals. So for your homework tonight, I want you to look at the numbers below and round them to the nearest whole number. So you have 3 different numbers, so I want you to label them number 1, number 2, and number 3, and tell me what they would be approximately, or what they would be rounded to. If you have any questions, please post them on here tonight. Otherwise, we will discuss this further in class tomorrow.